My dear brothers and sisters, today is Little Christmas. And I think a good thing that you can do is pull out one of your Christmas decorations and hang it somewhere in your house in anticipation of the joy of Christmas Day 9 months from now. For those of you who know me, I think I openly admit I'm a Christmas junkie. And just the joy of knowing that Christmas is 9 months from now makes me extremely happy. But that joy is possible because somebody else said yes. Very often our joy rests on somebody else's yes. Today that yes came from a virgin girl in the town of Nazareth, no more than 15 years old. Now, make no mistake, this is the day that Jesus became incarnate. The Word has become flesh. It is not that he was born on Christmas Day and that's when he came into the world. He is already in the world because he takes his place in his mother's womb. And that is why human life must be protected from the womb to the tomb. From the very moment of conception, Jesus is with us. He is with us. He dwells among us. And that is why today at the Credo and at every time we say the I believe or the Credo, we bow down our heads at those words. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. We will do it today at the Eucharist as we should do it every time we say those words. He became flesh. But coming back to that 15-year-old girl who said yes. Today, we tend to raise her and exalt her and take away in that sense, her human frailty. Sadly, today we tend to deify our Blessed Mother as if she was a goddess. She's not, but we tend to do that. We tend to deify her and make her sound like it was so easy for her to say yes. Look at any of the paintings, the Renaissance paintings, and you will see that Mary is depicted in those beautiful clothes of silk. She looks so delicate and pretty and all dolled up. And you stand before those paintings, you stand before these picture-perfect statues of Our Lady, and you think, wow. But on that first day, when the angel came, there was anything but wow. In fact, she was terrified. I think the word afraid does a grave injustice to a 15-year-old girl who found an angel suddenly in her house. I think I would have been, as the young people say these days, freaked out completely. Our Blessed Mother must have been freaked out. Freaked out because she was being asked to take on a task that was just unthinkable. To be the mother of the Savior, the long-awaited Messiah. And the angel has to assure her, just as the angel often assures us, not to be afraid. You know, I draw strength from our Blessed Mother, and so should all of us, when we are afraid. When God asks something from us, we are afraid. But draw strength from our Blessed Mother, because she said yes, trusting in God. I'm not going to use this homily, and please don't misunderstand what I'm about to say. But it's easier for most Catholics to say no. Because no means I don't have to take on more work, Father Warner. Thank you very much. But find somebody else in the parish. You know how much I have on my plate, my dear Father Warner. You guys get your breakfast, lunch and dinner on your table, so you think everything is easy. Just for your information, we don't. But generally, what is the answer that comes out from our mouth when a call is given to service? It's, no, Father, not me. Find somebody else. And imagine if our Blessed Mother had to say, find somebody else. I'm too young, I'm too afraid, I don't have a proper house. What about Joseph? What about my neighbors? What about? All of us have this what about questions. But yet we are called to say, yes. I discovered the great power that the word no has from my little niece, who's no longer little. She's all of 14 years now. But when Sienna was a little girl, and they call it the terrible twos, I think for a reason. I don't know whether it was 2 or 3. But when Sienna was young, I discovered at one point of time that she had discovered the power of saying no. And you asked her just about anything, as many young children do when they discover the power of no. You asked her, do you want ice cream? And she would say no. And she would say no just because she realized that no suddenly meant I could reject you. I didn't have to say yes. Up to that point of time, as a little child, we believe, yes, we have to say yes. But the minute you discover that no means I have power and you don't have the power, I exercise it very strongly. Watch little children when they have that, when they discover the joy of saying no. They just say no, no, no. And they go on and on and on. And annoyingly so, because sometimes you're saying, this is good for you. You see, saying yes requires a tremendous humility. Anyone can say no. And I thank our Blessed Mother today for her yes. As I said, difficult as it was, she said yes. But in Mary, we also find the strength to be a disciple. And she had to learn to be a disciple, one experience at a time. Her yes did not mean that from that moment on, everything was hunky-dory. Her yes meant that from that moment on, she was in the school of discipleship. And being in a school of discipleship means that you have to learn, one lesson at a time. She had to face the ridicule, perhaps, of the people in Nazareth. She had to face the doubt of her fiancé Joseph. She had that long journey to Bethlehem, which was also part of discipleship learning. Then there was the flight into Egypt, which means that she became a refugee and stood in line with the many refugees in the world today. She had the panic of losing her son in the temple, the agony of seeing him die on the cross, and a sword piercing her own heart. A yes entails schooling in discipleship. And yet when someone in the crowd said, how lucky is your mother, for she got to suckle you, Jesus says, hey, hold on. She's not lucky. She earned her stripes. Don't take that away from her. In fact, Jesus said, blessed are those who do the will of God. He was referring to her doing the will of God. He was saying, don't just put it down to hashtag lucky, hashtag blessed, hashtag good for you. He said, rather use hashtag schooled in discipleship, hashtag yes. She is blessed because she heard God's voice. Fearful as she was at the Annunciation, she's blessed because she surrendered. She's blessed because she permits her role as mother to take a backseat over her role as a disciple. She is blessed because she had the courage to stand at the foot of the cross and yet believe in the angel's promise on the day of the Annunciation that Jesus would be given rule over the house of David. That's a tough woman. That's a truly amazing disciple. That's why she has the privilege to point us to Jesus and say, do whatever he asks you.